So before we get into our topic, what we're going to be talking about tonight, welcome everybody to Blabbin' About Slabbin' live here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. It is a Thursday night, and we're going to be talking about Bryce Harper tonight. But before we get to that, I think Chris wanted to talk about a card he may have picked up.
Yeah, I recently picked up. I picked up a card. First, I just want to say, Thursday nights, we'll see how this goes. But if you remember, as kids of the '90s, like Jeff and I were, Thursday nights was must-see TV on NBC with Friends, Seinfeld, and ER, and a bunch of crap in between there they couldn't really figure out.
Yeah,
but hopefully we can be one of those three good ones with
that's
our
what we're trying. Yes, and I know it's kind of an early start on the West Coast, but it also is still kind of late on the East Coast. So we thought this is a happy medium. Dollar Box, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're comfortably right in the middle of everyone's availability.
Yeah.
but yeah, so there's a really cool Instagram account.
Hey, what's up, Matt? Thanks for joining live.
Okay, just adjust this. There's a really cool Instagram account called Ginter Wood Minis.
Yes, great account.
He got an absolutely incredible and very singular collection of, as you could guess it, Allen and Ginter Wood Minis.
Yeah.
And we were talking about stuff, and he showed me a card that he had that he was willing to sell that is basically like as close to cocaine as a card can be to a person. So as soon as he showed it to me, I'm just like, I mean, I'm helpless. Like my face just kind of went blank, and I'm just like, what's this going to cost me? So anyway, that card is, of course, the 2019 Ronald Acuna Topps Black.
Look at that.
Such a cool card. It's this is when they did the parallels right. So the whole background's black. Gold cup is nice and, well, gold.
Gold. Yeah, it looks great. And what is that numbered out of?
67.
67. Hey, Lucky Peter, what's up?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm utterly helpless. Like when someone shows me that card and tells me it's available, there's almost nothing I can do.
So what cards of that image do you have now?
Topps gold, Topps black, the chrome orange, I think a chrome gold. I have like the kneeling rainbow up to red. I mean, I'm sorry, not except for the red. I don't have the red. I know a couple people that do have a red, but man, it's just so expensive for a second-year card, as cool as it is.
Yeah.
But
what's up, Aaron? Ready to blab? Yes, and we got a lot of good insights from you guys. Hey, Art Chemist, good evening. And I know Chris on his IG ran a few polls about Bryce Harper tonight.
Yes,
hey, right minds, tight lines. Yeah. So do you have the results of those IG polls that you ran or close to?
I mean, it was interesting. I thought it was just about 50-50 on people who collected Bryce Harper versus people who don't. Yes, actually, I was going to say Cardboard Showcase. I used to have a camo of that Acuna image, but I believe Cardboard Showcase was missing it for his rainbow. So it was donated to complete the project. And if you go to his Instagram page, they're all there lined up, and it looks fantastic.
That's great.
It's in a good home. So I about 50-50 in terms of who collects Harper and who doesn't, which I thought was a huge star in the game.
You were kind of surprised. I was almost surprised the other way that the number was that high because he's a big star, but there's still a lot of people, a lot of collectors on Instagram that don't necessarily just collect players, that they might collect sets, or they might collect players of their hometown teams, or guys that only stay on one team. So half and half. I thought that was pretty good.
All right. Then the next question was, does this playoff performance make you more likely to buy one of his cards? And that's where the numbers sort of separate a little bit. It was approaching like 67-33.
Wow.
So I think we might. And what's interesting is actually last night there was a big buy on a Bowman Chrome auto of his, the base in a 9.5. You might not want to hear this, but an offer was accepted, and I think a new high was set at $1,100.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a big jump because it had been trending around like 850-ish for about a week or two.
Yeah.
It's definitely jumped. So I think we might be about to see, based on that poll, which is very scientific and totally binding in every way, we may be about to see another spike, another October spike in Bryce Harper cards.
Yeah, I was there was the same card was up for auction tonight. I didn't see what it went for though.
Oh, I didn't either.
Um, but yes, full disclosure, I just sold one of those cards. That's why Chris is mentioning it. Oh, it's still going. There's an hour left. It's at 871.
Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe someone just made an offer because they didn't want to deal with bidding, and they figured they'd just make a really aggressive offer and snag the other one that's out there. I'm also not sure about subgrades. It's really hard to.
Yes, I was gonna say there's a pretty big variance in subgrades. Like the one
Yeah.
I sold was 395s and a 9, so it was a min gem. This one has 110, but also a 9, so it's kind of right in the middle. And then I know there was a true gem that sold also.
Yeah. Yeah, like with a lot of these early, we say early, but like early 2009, 10 Bowman Chrome autos, there's a lot of centering issues,
Yeah, true.
which is tough to get to overcome, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it will be interesting. We can run that poll again in 2 months
Yeah.
or 4 months. There is a lot of recency bias, of course, in our hobby, and he is dominating once again in the playoffs. So I'm not surprised to see that number at 2/3. I
No,
think,
and if he does get a ring, we're for like weeks, we're just going to see pictures of him celebrating in Philly, getting drunk with all those fans, and absolutely cementing himself in that city's legacy, which
for sure.
is which he deserves.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that that's one thing that we'll talk about tonight is that it his style of play and the way he interacts with fans and his relationship with his fans. I think that's part of what makes him collectible to the people that do collect him. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything new you want to? Any new
Oh,
pickups?
I wanted to ask about the third question of whether people thought his pricing was going to go up or down.
I was surprised at that one too because the majority answer would stay the same,
Hmm,
but then more people said go down than go up. But the
inter-
majority was that it would stay the same.
Interesting. Yeah, and it may end up being the same, and it may go up and down, and then end up the same. Who knows?
Yeah.
We know how the market goes.
Yes, I think we definitely would not be surprised to see a late October roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a lull, even if he does win the ring. Maybe the lull will be pushed. The off-season lull will be pushed to later November or in December. But yeah, everybody will get a chance to buy him at a decent price.
Oh
Aaron
yeah,
had a ton of haters. They seem to be a group that is shrinking over time. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I think part of it was he came up and was very flamboyant and didn't necessarily uh, look at the game the same way as some of the old timers did. So that rubbed people the wrong way for sure. But I
yeah,
think now,
definitely. Yeah, he was perceived as very arrogant, but
yes,
he was good. He was better than everybody else. Like at every age, he just kept going. He was better, and I'm sure people didn't like seeing that. Sometimes cockiness turns people off.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's warranted. Like he has always been really good. But yeah, I think as Aaron Davies said, the group of haters is definitely shrinking.
for sure. Yeah, and I think also one thing that one way that he's garnered more fans is his ability to overcome injuries. Now, the last couple seasons have been shortened due to injury, but he's made it work. He became a
Yeah,
full time DH and still performed. This year, he recovered really quickly from his surgery, didn't miss much time, transitioned to a new position, and still made it work and was out there almost every day.
yeah. I mean, seeing him run the bases, he puts that his arm in that thing. It's almost like nerve wracking.
Yeah,
But like how fragile this elbow might be. I also think it's interesting. I haven't seen him have to make a throw yet in any of these games. So I don't know if they're reworking cutoffs to avoid him, or if somehow they've just been able to
yeah,
avoid it altogether. I don't know.
yeah. Now that you mention it, I don't recall seeing him have to throw.
No, no.
Uh, Aaron Davies, they're now Trout haters. What a twist. Yeah, well, that's true. He's garnered his own share of haters. I don't have a pickup yet because I'll I'll tease it that Chris and I did pick up a Harper, which maybe it's not Harper season to buy, but we saw when we couldn't resist. But it's currently going through the eBay authentication process. So when we get it, we'll show it off.
We'll show you guys around New Year's what that card looks like.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you want to start? How do you want to start our Harper breakdown here?
Well, do you want to just start with when his first cards came out? Jorge,
Sure.
I collect Harper, but the cards I want are not in Nationals uniform. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the majority of collectors tend to go towards rookie cards, but yes, his rookie's in a different uniform, and it's now he's become more synonymous with the Phillies.
Yeah. Junior Garrett says he's watching. This is an episode of Friends, and sure.
What is that Central Perk? Is that
Yeah.
where that I
Something.
don't think I'd even want anyone to use with the Nats. Well, he's got some really great cards.
Well, that's interesting. That I forget who said that. Who was it that does not want anything of him with the Nats?
I think Jorge said that.
Or he doesn't want a card. Well, that's interesting because kind of sneakily, the Bryce Harper 2011 Bowman Chrome Auto, that number 111, that's the one we talked about with the prices earlier. That is definitely his most identifiable, like, first auto. But he has earlier autographs. He's in upper deck stuff all the way back to 2008.
Ooh.
Teenager, and they're like, I think like it's 16 and under, Team USA maybe.
Yeah.
And then in 2009 he has upper deck autos, and some of those I think are relics as well. He and Machado were both on that teenage USA team. So those are his first, like, essentially on card autos, but they're unlicensed, and actually they may be stickers now that I think about it. And they're certainly not going to set you back a lot.
Well,
But
if you really want to avoid his Nats stuff.
if he's a guy you like and you want to avoid the national stuff, that might be a card. That might be stuff to look at. Now, when you look at his 2011 Bowman Chrome autos, you will notice that it does not say first Bowman Chrome on it. That's because his first Bowman Chromes were in 2010, also on Team USA.
The Olympic team, yeah.
Yes, and they were in the what do you call it? They're in the first Bowman release. So he and Machado both had cards in there. And then Topps had this great idea. They bought back 100 of those cards for those two guys and a couple other names that didn't pan out, and had them autograph them. They numbered them to 100, and then, hold on to your hats, forgot to put them in Bowman Chrome. So Topps has been forgetting to put cards in packs for at least 12, 13 years now. It's nothing new. They've been bad at it. They're going to continue to be bad at it. And whenever they want to claim it was a mistake, they can.
So how were collectors able to get those cards?
So they did a wrapper redemption. So if you bought a hobby box and sent all your wrappers back in, they had other cards that they were doing a wrapper redemption with. So they just threw some of these autos in there as well. So that card is Bryce Harper's first certified Topps on-card autograph. And it says first Bowman Chrome up on the top.
And that was, since it was part of the wrapper redemption, we don't know how many of those 100 cards actually got into circulation.
No, but we can tell you exactly how many are sitting at PSA, which is not very many. I looked this up. I think there are 7 at PSA.
That makes me think that not all 100 of them.
I think we can very, very safely assume. Oh, I'm sorry, 8. 8 at PSA. I think we can assume not all 100 are in there. And there, if you're not sure what this card looks like, there's one for sale on eBay right now. I'm trying to think. It's a BGS something. Or no, I'm sorry. It's either a BGS 8 or a PSA 8. It's something like that. And I believe the asking price is like something astronomical. So it's in like the $4,000 or $5,000 range. The last sale I could find was a BGS 9 for $34.80, and that was over the summer. So you do not see these very often.
They're hard to find. So if you do see one and can pick it up for a reasonable price, it's a great get to have.
But I will also say that, like, I would guess, because a lot of collectors don't really know about it.
Yeah.
I actually heard about it from at Rookie Central on Instagram, diehard Phillies fan. And he has one of them. He has one on his page if you want to check it out. What was I going to say? Yeah, the 2011 is probably, as far as collectors go, the more mainstream and the more popular. But that USA one is really, really cool. Similarly, Matt Olson's first Bowman Chrome auto is in that same 2010 Bowman set. It's a sticker auto, and he looks like he's about 15 years old. But based on sale prices, the collectors en masse have chosen his 2013 Bowman Chrome auto where he's with the A's.
Yeah.
They've chosen that one as their preferred, prospect auto. But I would check out that Harper Team USA card. It's a badass card.
It's a great card.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unier, Scotty B did a video on Harper rookies. The Chrome SP is the best, and the Heritage is my favorite. Okay. Some great choices there.
Jeff and I are a little impartial to that Chrome SSB. It may be SSSP, actually. I don't know.
Yes. Real quick before we go on, I did want to mention Caleb said he picked up the Glaber Topps Chrome Gold rookie he mentioned a few weeks ago, and it looks so good in person. So congrats on the pickup. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Cool card. Yeah, great job.
Ooh, Seager tied the game.
All right. Nice.
Some fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, it's that series is hard to know what I want to happen. I
Yeah,
like you so much, and I like no one else on that team.
same.
Jordan and Dusty Baker. So I feel like I'm rooting for two guys or a Texas team that I really have no emotional attachment to at all. So
Yeah. Well, I just want to see. I just want to see more baseball. So I'd like to see Houston tie this up.
yeah,
But Seager, he's been a monster this year. That was a great signing.
yeah, he had a tough like beginning to this series, but that's no too bright. Yeah, he had a tough start to this series, but usually he's a pretty good playoff performer.
Um, yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, you briefly mentioned the Harper SPs and SSPs. He kind of came in right at the dawn of especially the Chrome SP era. We've
He
talked a
did.
lot about that. The 2012, 2013, 2014 was kind of when Topps was starting to try this out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came in at just the right time, and it's possible that they tried it out because of him. I mean, really, who knows? His Topps Chrome rookie is a really great card. It's a nice hitting image. I think it's like he's kind of following through. I think I'm trying to picture it, and the rainbow is very manageable as opposed to today.
Yes.
That's a really nice looking card. There's centering issues as there are with a lot of Topps Chrome, but
Yeah.
yeah, that rookie SSP. I think we could make a legitimate argument that it's like the best Chrome card of the modern era.
Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean there isn't one on eBay right now to sort of show. So I don't have a picture, but yeah, in Topps Chrome he has a super short print card. It's horizontal. He's sliding the third base, and like rumors are about the 25, give or take.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 25 different SP variations in the set, and the rumored print run is about 50 for each. But Harper has a base and a refractor. I don't know if that refractor's really surfaced in the last like 5 or 6 years. I think there may have been one eBay sale at like a BGS 8 or something.
Yeah, we've heard urban legends of the
Yeah,
refractor.
but I think the theory is that they chopped Harper's print run in half and made it half base, half refractor. So I believe last I checked there were seven or eight PSA 9s of the sliding SSP, and that's it. There's no 10s. It's a hell of a card.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would look like if Trout had one in 2011. That's one of the greatest, like, what if cards
Yeah.
of all time.
Right. Yeah, because Trout's SSPs are awesome, but yeah, he didn't have a rookie SSP.
No, not even a flagship SP.
Right.
But yeah, if we're gonna get okay, so his cards. I think one question Jeff and I were talking about is whether we think Harper is like appropriately valued. So I was just trying to look at some comparisons with his Bowman Chrome autos versus other people's Bowman Chrome autos. So it's interesting. His base was, like we talked about, was hovering around like 850 to 9, somewhere between 8 and 9 for a while. On October 1st, it sold for 730. So it slowly climbed. And now we're looking at 1100 was the last one. This one that's up for bids is probably not going to match that 1100. So we'll see where it goes. But it's definitely been on a slow sort of October rise. Yeah, Unier, the Heritage card is also, it's got that 1963 design. It's really nice. Kind of a weird picture of Bryce. It's almost mugshot-ish. He's just kind of standing there with the bat, looking pretty happy. That's a really nice card. Hold on, I have some specs on that. I tried to write this down. There are 159 total of that card at PSA, the Heritage, and 38 PSA 10s. So that's pretty rare. That's actually rarer than his flagship SP, the red helmet one. And if I
It's
take
red helmet. What's the pop on the red helmet?
Okay, so yeah, so if you want his flagship rookie, he has one, and it's worth noting. And it's a batting image. It's card number 661, and PSA and BGS both call it red helmet. And hang on to your hats, he's wearing a red helmet in the picture. But there are also like complete set variations that have that same card number. I think one where he's screaming, And then
Yes.
there's like a further away shot of him batting, but he's wearing a blue helmet. You don't
It's
want
not that different of a picture.
no, it's not that different of a picture, and it can be especially sneaky. The mini uses the same picture as the red helmet SP, and I have seen sellers on eBay try to sneak that mini by. I mean, obviously with authentication now, it really shouldn't be a problem, but in the past, you could definitely get burned.
Yeah.
That's a really cool card, and that's like basically his only real flagship rookie. It has some. There are some sticker autos out there as well. Personally, I'd almost take it without the auto. But there's 320 total of that card at PSA with 159 gems. So it's rare. By
Yeah.
today's standards, almost super rare.
Right.
But it's somewhere in between an SP and an SSB. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Where do those prices line up now?
Okay, I looked. The only sale I could find in the last like 6 months was a PSA 9 for $900. I mean, what's a 10? I don't know.
So they don't move a lot,
They
and
don't move a lot. I
that's
think
not a lot compared to some of the more recent rookies, I would say.
yeah. No, and I would say that that card is sitting in a lot of PCs would be my guess.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, you can look it up. There's a couple for sale on eBay for pretty high prices if you want to see what it looks like. Just make sure you're getting the red helmet. That's you don't want streaming. You don't want blue helmet.
Yeah, I
It,
wonder if any of those are going to move this postseason. I know you mentioned they're for pretty high prices, but I wonder if there's any negotiating going on.
I would think so. There's also he also has he's in his update card. It says rookie debut. So if you are excuse me a parallel guy, like you want your tops black, your Walmart blue, your Target red, what else is in there? Gold. His update is a rookie debut card, and it's probably the most in demand rookie debut card out there.
Right. Probably the only one that garners any major attention.
Yeah, because he does have a base card in update. So he's got this rookie debut card, and I can't picture it off the top of my head. But a black, there are. Hold on, I looked this up. There's a whole, quite a few PSA 8 blacks have sold of late, and they're averaging around $1,100.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah, there's 16 total of the tops black at PSA, but nothing above a 9. So if you've got one that looks really clean, if you happen to be holding on to it for some reason,
So I just looked it up, and the picture is of him running,
okay.
kind of with a kind of a wacky smile on his face.
Yeah. All right. So
Uh,
price wise, having just taken a look at 130 point, it looks like the Heritage card is selling around the same way as the red helmet.
okay.
Because the PSA 9 for the Heritage base just sold for $825 on Monday.
Even though it's about twice as rare,
Yes.
based on what
It's about twice as rare, but in a offshoot, like a not almost a second tier set.
yeah,
Maybe.
lesser set. Yeah.
Yeah, lesser set. But yeah, it's just a weird card. His hat's even like on a little sideways. I don't
Yeah.
know. I could like it though. There is, I think Jorge was mentioning the color. It is. There's a green in the bottom, red in the circle. I mean, it looks good. It's a really nice looking card. And he's got ink, like real one autos, blue and red inks. There's one red ink at PSA. I think that year they're numbered out of 10, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay. That was 10 because that Mookie's year that was 10 also, right?
Yeah, and Machado. In 13 or 14, it was definitely 10. I don't know about 12.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't go until after the Mookie year. All right. So, what about when we get beyond his rookie cards?
Well, I wanted to go back to his Bowman Chromes for a minute and just talk about what his prices are looking at. So we'll say with like multiple. First of all, it's worth noting how many of these have sold this month. 18 Harper Bowman Chrome autos have sold this October, and that seems like a really high number.
Yeah.
And that's across all the platforms I could find. I'm sure there's at this point, who knows? I can't see what Alt is doing, and I don't know if Gold is tied into 130 point anymore. But 18 seems like a lot. That's about one a day. So I would
Yeah.
say his stuff is very popular. It's definitely moving.
Yeah. Well, I had mine up in the eBay vault for about 4 days, and I got several offers before I sold it. So there was a lot of interest, and yeah, I was
Yeah.
happy with it because while I like it, it wasn't a particularly rare card. So I thought I could move it and move into something else, like the card that we bought, which was actually less, but a more modern card. That's I prefer that.
Hey, Grady, how's it going, buddy? Grady asked if you and I are targeting a Bowman Chrome Auto or one of the red helmets. I can tell you, I don't think Jeff and I have any plans to go after a big Bryce Harper card this fall. I think we're feeling okay with where we are Harper wise. We're just here to try to help other people who might be on the lookout.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, while lately given the opportunity, well, we've talked a lot about how our collection is going a little bit more towards Bowman first autos, but it different without him having the first designation on there. It's not quite the same as some of the others. So I think for him, we're happier sticking with like the SSP part of collecting them, and not necessarily looking at his Bowman first auto.
Yeah, but if we were to give someone advice on which way to go, if based on what would we target? Right. Based on sales, if a PSA 9 is 900, you got to assume a PSA 10 of the red helmet would be in the neighborhood of like 2,500 and up, depending on stubbornness of the seller or eagerness to get cash and be out of it. Right. Looking at like a 3-to-1.
Yeah.
So for around that same price, man, that's a tough call. That card is really cool. I think it's a more iconic card than his Bowman Chrome Auto.
It's more iconic. It's rarer, scarcer.
Unless you can pump in a little more money and go for something numbered.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kevin? I don't even know what the numbered Bowman Chrome. I saw a refractor sold for not much higher, and the refractor I believe is out of 500 or 499. That one sold. I think a raw one sold for about 1,100, 1,200. So not that much higher than these. But I don't know about the thing is with his rookie year, there weren't a lot of PSA graded cards then. So you're going to get a lot of BGS 9.5s, a lot of BGS 9s. It's going to be tougher to find a PSA 10. So when you do, you are going to pay a premium.
Yes,
but go for one that I would try to shoot for the PSA 10.
Yes, Grady, you're right. The 2017 Topps Glutes SSP is definitely more iconic. That's just honestly, I don't know. I think you have to make your own choice there. If you could get the biggest sale I could find for a Harper first Bowman Chrome Auto is a gold, which went for 14.4 on October 1st on PWCC. So 14 grand before the playoff run.
Yeah, that's not bad considering what it probably is right now.
Yeah, I'm guessing if there are any available, you're going to pay at least 15 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can find like a blue in pretty good shape, I think there's greens. I would try to avoid that. But if you get a nice refractor or a blue, man, it's hard to. We just have to go with what the hobby is telling us and say that if you can find a blue, it's the blue versus the red helmet. I feel like numbering wise, that's about where you are.
Yeah.
150 blues, 150 PSA 10s of that red helmet. The red helmet has the iconic image that everyone knows, but the blue is the second Bowman Chrome Auto.
Yeah, if you could get a blue, that would be nice.
Yes, that's probably what I would do. Because I mean, I hate to do it. I hate to say to do it just because that's what the hobby tells you to do, but Brady, what would we target out of the Topps Chrome rookie set? Well, if you happen to see one of those SSPs for sale, you buy that thing immediately.
Yeah.
The last sales we're aware of, one of those PSA 9s went for about $5,500 last fall, and I haven't seen one this whole year.
Oh, M. Parsons, keep us posted. Aces loaded, one out. Wow.
You almost just want to pencil in, at least 2 runs for Houston. But yeah, if you could find, obviously the 2012 gold, the Topps Chrome golds are just gorgeous. That's an awesome card. But it all depends on what your budget is, really.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you can afford the gold, then go buy the gold. Absolutely. Don't hesitate. Go buy the gold. But now in a world where most people can't afford the gold, you look for, what do you think, blue?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think there's the purple is the 2012. Is the purple numbered in 2012? I'm not sure.
The no, purple, no. The base, non-auto, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Purple and orange are both not numbered.
Okay. All right. So we ignore those. Ha! Yeah, if you're looking non-numbered, then yeah, the X Factor is probably the way to go. If your budget says non-numbered, I think the X Factor is going to be your lowest pop. That would be my suggestion. And try to find one that's centered because a lot of them aren't. And
Yeah,
I don't know what a PSA 10 is going for right now. I know last year they spiked. They were going up around like $800-900 after during the playoff run. I'm guessing now you get it for half that, maybe like 4 or 5 right now, but it's probably ticking up.
it's probably ticking up just like last year's.
Yeah, and the pop isn't very high, so you're gonna run into some trouble.
Cardboard Showcase. I love Harper's later year SSPs. Picked up his 2016 Topps Update All Star SSP earlier this year.
Yes, I remember that card. He has the only copy on both the BGS report and the PSA report because it's the same card. And that card is phenomenal. It's horizontal. It's Harper with Machado.
Machado, yeah,
Absolutely spectacular card.
that's a great card. Yeah, even more iconic maybe than the glutes the next year.
It depends what you'd rather look at.
That's true. That's
Machado's face or someone's butt, and I think that's probably an even split.
Grady says rule of thumb for non-numbered, go for lowest pop. I think that's smart because that's an indication as to how many are out there, what the print run is, even if we don't have exact print run information.
Yes.
So I think that makes sense. I mean, you can get into some differences about what kind of colors people like versus what colors they don't, but non-numbered, yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. Go for the lowest pop.
Yes, especially for the older stuff. Like for these years, like 11, 12, 13. When you get to like, if you're looking at like 20, 21, 22, 23, you can't go unnumbered. There's just too much. There's too much out there.
Right.
There's too much of everything. So it's pretty much gold, blue, or bust, I think.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're talking SSPs, because those still are
right
reasonably printed. Kevin interjected with the Dodgers won the Yordan Alvarez trade for Josh Fields.
Listen, you can't win every trade.
Can't win every trade, and if you're the Dodgers, you can afford to buy your way out of a failed trade.
That's a tough one though. In hindsight, that one's tough because I don't think Josh Fields did anything.
No.
For the Dodgers.
Kind of like the Shields Tatis trade. Orange is the lowest non-numbered in PSA 10. Harper with 74. Yeah, I had both an orange and a purple that I sold earlier this year, but they were both 9s, and they were absolutely perfect except slightly off center. And I submitted them both thinking that I might still be able to pull a 10 on one because they were still within the constraints of PSA, but they were definitely off center. So I can't be too upset about getting a 9, but I can imagine that the gem percentage is not that high on some of those because
I certainly wouldn't think so. If the orange is at 74, Grady, what's the X factor and what's the purple? Because at some point I would even wonder. All right, I see a refractor selling for about 500. I really like the image on the auto when he's running right at the camera, like really intense. Ooh, boy, the 2012 black parallels really do look nice. I gotta say, I'm just scrolling through here. All right, I see a purple for 430. I wonder too, like, I'm not sure what the pop reports are, but I wonder if when collectors look at older years like this, if the base refractor becomes, if the pops are close, if you'll end up preferring the base refractor because it's got some history.
It could be, and I think it's a matter of preference. Grady said so. Purple's 90. So purple and orange are pretty close. They both really good. Color from that year. So I don't know. When I first got back into the hobby, that's one thing that confused me because I associated orange with being out of 25. So I'd see the orange and think, well, I got to grab that. And purple being out of 250. Well, neither of them are numbered, so it's hard to gauge which one was more valuable. But it becomes a preference thing and what you think the market's going to decide. So they're pretty close in pop. So yeah, you look at recent sales and see where they are.
Yeah, Grady, what's the refractor up to in a PSA 10? Doesn't have to be not the non-colored, just your base, your regular refractor. And while you're looking that up, I just want to talk about real quick. So we're going to say Harper's base Bowman Chrome is about, give or take, between 9 and 1,000.
Yeah.
That puts it pretty even with Mookie Betts. Ooh. So sack fly.
Excellent.
So he's like, even with Mookie Betts, for Freeman, a BGS 9 base is about 600. For Machado, it's down to 200. Julio Rodriguez is over 800. And so that one's pretty close to Mookie, too, which is very interesting, or close to Harper, too, which is pretty interesting to think about. And Corbin Carroll's a little bit different because he is mostly PSA 10s. So his last PSA 10 went for about $900. 150 on the refractor. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Looking at those guys, like I'm not the only one that jumped out to me is Machado is crazy cheap.
Yeah, and I think that's the prices that you just talked about show how the market's going away from base in
Right.
general and
And,
trying to find the next level up, whether it's a refractor of 499 or 500 or the blue at 150.
whew,
Yeah.
man, Jordan just doesn't miss balls very often, does he? You know they brought in some lefty to face him. It was Chapman. That was that. Man. Well, we'll see some highlights of that at bat at some point.
Um,
Two gigantic Cubans facing each other in the playoffs. Combined, they've got to be close to like 13 feet and 550 pounds.
Now, when we're talking about cards, I just want to interject a little bit about Harper from a career standpoint and statistical standpoint where he lands, and it's a good segue when you're talking about their Bowman Chrome base rookies or Bowman Chrome Bowman firsts of similar age players. Machado, Betts, Harper, they're all relatively the same age. Harper's had a really interesting career because he came up with more, except for maybe his teammate Strasburg, he came to the pros with more fanfare than anyone. He went to college at 16, right? He went to JUCO because he was too good to play in his high school. Got drafted was at 18, and he's had some spectacular years. He's won 2 MVPs, obviously, but he's had a pretty inconsistent career compared to some of those other guys you've talked about. So I
Yes.
just mentioned some specifics. In 12 years, do you know how many years he's got MVP votes, Chris?
Ooh. Okay.
So he's
Well,
won.
he's won 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm gonna see someone like him. It should be like 8, but it's
Yes.
really not. I'm gonna say it's 6.
It's 4.
4.
He's got his 2 wins, and the other 2 times he got votes, his rookie year, he finished 30th, and he
Okay.
also finished 12th. So his only 2 top 10 finishes are the years he won, which he was otherworldly. As far as big round numbers, like we look at guys trying to get to 30 home runs, 100 RBIs is just sort of an old school metric for a successful season. In 12 years, he's done that twice. Just twice. He only has 2 silver sluggers. So he's had those 2 really dominating years. Even in Philly, in his 5 years in Philly, he has 1 all-star selection. He's been an all-star once. And injuries have played a role in that, but it's interesting because we obviously view him as a superstar. His postseason performance is great. 3 of his first 4 postseasons were very forgettable. Like he hit 190, 230, and like 225. Abreu 3-run homer. Wow.
Tell that to Hunter Strickland, because I'm pretty sure that that Giants reliever hasn't had a good night's sleep since Harper just embarrassed him in the playoffs when he was on the Giants. And then I think, if I remember correctly, that's the guy that like threw at Harper.
Yeah.
And Harper ended up, and Buster Posey did not get up.
Yeah, and I think he was that was like when he was 21. I want to say.
Yeah.
20, really young. But yeah, he's got 10 home runs in the last 2 playoffs, so he's obviously a playoff monster. If we're talking about playoff performance moving the needle, he's a great example. But as far as his Hall of Fame trajectory, he's on a Hall of Fame pace, but not quite as close as I would have thought, or many people would probably assume. He's 19th among active players in WAR, so he's well behind several players of his own age. Trout, of course, Betts, Machado. In 1 fewer season, Nolan Arenado has 8 more WAR, and of course, a lot of that is defensive. And Harper has a great defensive player, but that was a crazy stat. And I also found this: in 1 more season played, Goldie has 16 more WAR.
Wow.
16, which is like 3 all-star seasons more of WAR in just one.
Yeah, and Goldschmidt's a first baseman, so it's not like he's a whole bunch of defensive value. Goldschmidt's just out hitting, like, yeah. I would say Goldschmidt's career is more averagely spread out,
Yeah,
whereas Harper like gigantic peaks.
it's much more consistent. Yeah, and the
Yeah,
thing, Goldie got started later, so even though he's played 13 seasons versus Harper's 12, he's 4 years older than Harper. But I looked at his the Hall of Fame peak, which is the 7-year peak, which a lot of people look and judge more. I didn't quite catch that. Let me. Judge WAR in 8 seasons has 3 or 4 less WAR. Oh, overall and for his career. Yeah,
interesting.
but he started later. So again, Harper has that advantage of being young and still playing. But for average right fielder, which he's been until this year, the Hall of Fame peak is
Ooh.
42.44, and he's 5 behind that for his 7-year peak. So he needs to do some work to get a couple more really good years, and that's right field. And now, especially if he's going to be playing at first base, which I don't know if that's going to be the long term solution, but it's even harder to gain any sort of defensive WAR.
Yeah, it's interesting because we talk about like modern stats versus standard stats, and Harper is going to end up being a poster child for the standard stat into the Hall of Fame. Like he and Mookie Betts are like two opposite players essentially in a way. Like Betts' all-around game and consistency are almost unrivaled. Whereas I'm looking at Harper, and yeah, I couldn't believe when you said 5 alls. Well, 1, 2, 6. He's been an all-star like what, 6 times?
He's
Wait, one,
7-time All Star, which is
7-time all-star.
yeah,
And he didn't even make the all-star team when he won the MVP in Philly, which is really crazy. I don't know how bad his first half was, but I
it
remember he was
right shows how well he did his second half. Just like this year, his second half was otherworldly.
yeah, I think his elbow really started to feel good in the second half. But yeah, he is still sitting on 306 home runs on his 31st birthday. So that bodes well for 500.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely get to 500. It's just when we look at him as a superstar, but we dig further into the I guess more modern stats, as you said, he doesn't quite match up to some of those other guys. In one of our group chats a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the consistency of guys like Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, where they went 8, 10 seasons, never finishing lower than say 5 or 6 in the MVP. And Harper's never come close to that consistency. So
No.
maybe now that he's healthy, maybe he can put on a run here in his early 30s as he reaches the end of his prime, like puts four MVP type years together. But he's not definitely not consistent. He's got those 2 MVPs, which the 2 MVPs and the 500 home runs, which he's definitely on a target for. That'll get him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And
Well,
the NL MVP won so far, but
yeah,
he's nothing to not win this one as well. I think we were talking about his inconsistency. So in 2015, he won the MVP.
yeah,
He had this is insane, a 1.1 OPS for the season.
yeah.
The following year, where he played 147 games, I don't remember him being hurt. His OPS fell 300 points. Like that's nuts.
It's crazy. And you talk about, well, pitchers adjust and things, but it's such an overwhelming overcorrection that you wondered, well, was that a fluke? Kind of like when Vladdy had his fluke huge season. And then there were a couple more kind of down years, and then he comes back and wins another MVP.
Whew. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Guerrero can follow suit here in some way. But yeah, he lost like what, 70 points of batting average. I mean, surely there was some BABIP fluctuation, but he also hit 18 fewer home runs.
Yeah.
And that's very strange for somebody. I think he was like what, 23?
Yes. Well, yeah, he went from his 22 to his 23 year.
Yeah.
And you're right. BABIP his BABIP went down 100 points that year. It went from 369 to 264. So it was an outlier because every other BABIP he's had, well, he had 1 year of 289, but otherwise he's usually like in the 300s, 320s. So there were some reasons for it, but it is such a glaring drop.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird for someone to have their career best season at 22. Like
Yes.
that's very unusual.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, he's aging. I mean, unfortunately, he has been injured, but as far as on the field skills, he's aging pretty well. He and
Right.
Freeman like they're just going to keep going, for a while.
And considering he's had those injuries, the last 2 years have been really great. He only played 99 games last year, but he was an all star. He was effective on the field. He played 126 games this year, mostly because of the ones he missed from the beginning. But he still, I can't remember I think he had a 3.6 war, maybe,
This
which,
year,
given how much of the season he missed and how relatively poor he played for the first 3 months, that's pretty impressive to still get to 3.6.
yeah, I'm on Baseball Reference. This is 3.7. Fangraphs probably 3.6. Yeah, it's he's had a really interesting career, but and kind of going back to the Betts comparison, like Betts gets no hype whatsoever. He gets no extra attention around him for anything else that he does. Whereas Bryce Harper, and it may be just the fact that he plays in where he is in Philadelphia and how well he meshes with those fans.
I think that's part of it. We touched on that before, just the relationship he has with the fans. Yeah, the way he plays, he's definitely spirited, and for better or worse, he gets attention. I know we talked before about how there were some people around baseball that didn't like the throat slit gesture after hitting home runs, but he definitely gets talked about. And it's
Oh yeah,
hard to call somebody who plays in the LA market and plays for the Dodgers under the radar, but it kind of seems, in comparison, that's where Betts is living.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't help. It doesn't help that Betts, went over 15 in the playoffs either. Small sample size or whatever it was. I mean, maybe it was over 12, whatever. I mean, that hurts. I mean, that makes everything magnified. And Harper, I mean, yeah, good lord. God, he has just annihilated the Braves 2 years in a row in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
he's got
I,
10 home runs in the last two postseasons. So you add those home runs to his total, and he's up
yeah,
near 20 for his
yeah,
career.
his career postseason OPS is over 1,000.
Yeah,
That's
right.
insane.
He trails two guys named Ruth and Gehrig in that category, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I know if you push out the there was a stat on MLB. I can't pull it up, but if you look at just their slugging or something, it's like David Ortiz is one. I think who else two? Matsui is two, and Harper is three for just like left-handers in the playoffs, but under a certain whatever Ortiz played in. I guess is the number that the cutoff is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in some extremely rarefied air here. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I wanted to get the ring for two reasons. One, because I do root for him now that the Braves are gone. I like him, and I have a bunch of friends that are Phillies fans, so I would like them to be happy. But I also feel like if he gets the ring this year, A, our cards will be more valuable, which is nice.
Thanks.
But B, the Phillies will be less likely to go on some sort of absurd spending spree in the offseason to try and get over this hump. At this
Yeah.
point, I win the damn thing and then relax for a couple years.
Well, to that point, do you think it's more likely or less likely that they bring Trout on if they win it all this year?
Well, I mean, they'll have more money to play with, right?
Yeah.
And ownership will definitely see the benefits of being in the playoffs every year. Their first thing, they'll have to re-sign Aaron Nola. I mean, they can't let him walk. And trust me, there's no one who hates Aaron Nola more than me. He spent 6 months ruining my fantasy ratios only to turn it on when I want him to pitch poorly. It's very frustrating. But yeah, I don't see why. I don't see why they would not make a play to trade for Mike Trout. Unless they're just really in love with Brandon Marsh's ability in left field, I don't see why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Let Hoskins walk and go trade for Trout.
I know we've talked before about how, especially in baseball, championships don't rule the day as far as player value and postseason performance. And historically, that's been because there haven't been that many teams in the postseason. Baseball was pretty confined to a few teams making the postseason, so it's hard to judge everybody else based on that. But seeing a performance like Harper now 2 years in a row, I feel like that has to move the needle on his cards.
I think it's one of the big reasons that David Ortiz stuff is as popular as it is.
Good point.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was unreal. Even like that one ALCS against the Tigers, I think he went like 1 for 25. The one swing, the one hit he had is the one you see all the time when he hit that grand slam off Benoit that Torrey Hunter tried to catch and fell into the bullpen. So I mean, like, and then of course he went on and hit like 700 in the World Series. So I would say when you do amazing things like that, like the Pujols homer off Brad Lidge that we see,
That still hasn't landed. Yeah.
still hasn't landed. And yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. I think that absolutely has got to move the needle. I mean, I see Bryce Harper postseason home runs when I try to fall asleep pretty regularly.
Yeah, nightmare fuel for Braves fans.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I got my wife saying, he's going to homer here, right? And I'm like, yes. And then immediately he does. It's very frustrating.
And you wonder why they keep pitching to him. Um, I just want to show what my favorite Harper card that I have handy is this Bowman, and I posted it on my IG the other day, and whoever was talking about how good his Phillies cards look. This is right up there with me. It's his first Phillies card. I pulled it in the pack, jersey number 3/5, and yeah, I feel like his Phillies cards. There's some really great ones. Do you happen to have your auto?
Yes, I do.
You should show that one.
Yeah, let me grab that. By the way, since you have the paper Bowman out of red, there's really no excuse for you not tracking down the Bowman Chrome out of red. The Bowman.
I don't know if there is one with this image.
Is he not in? Oh, actually, that might be the year that he's not in Bowman Chrome.
Yeah, they threw these in. Thanks, Junior. Yeah, they threw them in at the last minute because that's right when he signed with the.
Yeah.
They threw him in. This was the first Bowman release, so they threw him in there. It's kind of banged up. I don't know if you can see, but the corners are a little banged up. Every other card in the pack was perfect, but this you could tell they just kind of had thrown it in there. But it's still one of my favorites.
Hey, it's red. It's numbered out of 5, and it's got a cover on it. So this is probably the best Bryce Harper card I've got sitting around here. Hold on.
Stadium Club. Look at that photo.
Stadium Club Chrome out of 2020 on-card auto.
Got the powder blue baby forms.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could talk about 2020 Stadium Club Chrome all day and night, but it's one of the best sets of the last 10 years. Oh, and some of the autos are crazy short printed. Like that Harper, there's only one at PSA, and you just saw it. There's also a shimmer, and we know there's a red. So I mean, that's 3. I haven't seen any other ones.
Yeah, so the way especially that year Stadium Club Chrome framed their cards for signatures. It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Jorge. And are there any colored refractors of the auto? Yeah, like Chris mentioned.
There's a red and a shimmer. I haven't seen.
It's kind of like a rainbow type thing.
Yeah, there's one on the PSA Pop Report, so I know it exists, and I've seen a red, but that's it. And like I said, I've only seen one base, so I know I feel like it's similar to the Ohtani. If you've ever seen the Ohtani card, he has an auto, and the image is very similar to that, but it's kind of from behind instead of the front. And same thing, I think there's 6 or 7 total on the PSA Pop Report. So I really think they short printed some of the big names.
Jake, you're speaking Chris's language.
Oof, oh yeah.
Makes me feel things below the belt. It's a great set. Probably one of the recent sets around.
Yeah, it's one of the few products that Jeff and I like to rip every single year.
Jorge said that the red wit you mentioned last time lives rent free in my head.
Yes, the 2022 Stadium Club Chrome with the 91 design.
Yeah.
That's that horizontal picture of him high-fiving his teammates. And there's a red, and it actually is red. Like they put color in it.
Instead of just putting the logo, tinting the foil red. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they that one just
cards. But so to your point, there's some awesome Philly cards. There are some looking cards of Bryce Harper in Philly uniforms. So I can see why some people might stick to that.
I will be happy to highlight a couple of them real quick.
Yeah.
2019 Topps flagship SSP. It's horizontal, and it's a picture of Bryce Harper with the Philly Fanatic. Fantastic card. I haven't seen one pop up in a long time. I think that Philly fans have gobbled those up pretty good, or pretty well, I should say. Yeah. His 2020 super short print out of flagship is it's like him smiling. It's part of that portrait series that they did in Series 1, but he's wearing his Fanatic headband.
Yes, that's a great card.
You can get the 20 and the 19. That's a perfect. Those 2 cards go together really, really well.
Great call.
2 amazing Stadium Clubs. His 2020 Stadium Club SP is that one of him standing in front of the big Philly sign.
Yes.
That's an awesome card. And then 2021, his Stadium Club SP is similar to this. It's a very similar image, but it's up in this angle looking down, right at the point of contact. There's one on eBay right now if you want to get a look at it. I think the seller's asking $249 or best offer, something like that. which seems a little bit high for a Stadium Club card, but who knows? Yeah, take a look at those 4 cards. They're fantastic if you want something good of him in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah, for sure. And I think overall, you can't go wrong if you go with either his flagship blacks or his SPs or SSPs over the years. So I think those are good things to target if you don't want to stick with the rookies, if you don't like his Nat cards necessarily.
Yeah, he what was I gonna say? His archives rookie is also kind of cool. It's they use the 94 or I'm sorry, the 1984 tops design. So it's a picture of him throwing. I want to say it's him throwing. It's is it from the front or the back? I can't remember. But so it'll say Nationals along the side, like the same design as the Mattingly rookie. And
And
there's some there too that are pretty low numbered. But that one's. I'm sorry. Say it again, Jeff.
got the little portrait in the corner, 84
Yes,
tops.
that's a cool card. But again, archives is like a secondary product. But that card is really cool, and the back is all dark blue. So PSA 10 copies are few and far between on the auto and the base. But I think there's a couple autos. There's usually a few floating around on eBay. And let's not forget, he's also in Finest, which is always a great looking set.
Yes, absolutely. His finest cards. He's got a couple parallels in there, which are really sharp too. A couple things to get to quickly. Caleb, there's a Judge rookie debut black out of 66 PSA 9 on eBay, and it's really tempting me. You know how we feel about black parallels.
We do, but Aaron Judge has a lot of rookie cards. So I would, unless the price is really good.
It's got to depend.
Debut, I don't know. That might be tough. I mean, if it's for your PC forever, that's one thing. That might be tough to move down the line because he's got his rookie SP. I think he has a base and update, a base regular card. So those are 2 blacks already. I think the debut would be his 3rd flagship black rookie.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if the price is right, I don't think it's bad.
Ooh.
Cardboard Showcase. I'm working on building the complete run of all the 2020 Topps Portrait SSPs in PSA 10, and the only one I'm missing is the Harper. But so few gems of that, just 7.
Yeah, I'm not. I wish I had one. I don't have one. The only one I have near me is the Acuna, which Cardboard Showcase I know you already have, but just look at his smiling face.
Yeah,
I feel like this guy's going to come back next year so motivated and so angry. I
it was.
can't.
I got to give Topps a shout out. It was great when they had certain themes, and like Cardboard Showcase is mentioning right there, they had kind of the portrait style, a close up picture of, and so that was great.
Yeah, you knew when you flipped through a pack, you didn't need golden mirror and big ass letters on the back. You knew when there was a close up picture like that, something about this card was different.
So Caleb says it would be for PC. For sure, he's my favorite player. So I think that's a great PC card to have.
It is. I don't know what the image is. Is he hitting? Because I know it's hilarious to me that Topps chose for Aaron Judge's flagship rookie. They chose a catching image. Like it's like they're trolling. They're trolling us fans sometimes. But is the rookie debut? Is it him hitting? If it's a hitting image, then I like it a little bit more.
Well, and it all depends on the price.
Yes, it all depends on the price. Like Otani's rookie debut is popular because he's hitting. Otani.
Oh yeah, yeah, and because he's Otani, right?
Right, and because
Jorge question: why don't people grade more SP and SSPs with BGS? I would rather grade them there since they actually add better names on the label than PSA. Or am I just in the minority?
I think you're in the minority, Jorge. I just don't. I don't know. I think BGS is literally flatlining as we speak.
It is aggravating though that PSA doesn't do more to mark SSPs.
Yes, I don't mind them describing that. Whatever. I don't know if those names come from Topps or from PSA, but they really should just do SSP dash portrait, SSP dash lean over, SSP. Whatever. Explain what's going on, but put SP and SSP on the label to help us, keep these things.
Yeah.
Together.
And especially when you're trying to showcase it or put a picture of it, people might, what cool card. I don't know if I've seen that image. Well, if they see an SSP on there, then maybe they know
Yeah, if Cardboard Showcase gets his whole run together, it would be cool if they all said SSP.
Right.
But we know that they don't.
No.
Some of the Jordans actually say close up, and some say SSP.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're not consistent with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thoughts about the Judge here. JV says
Yeah.
that's my struggle looking for a Judge rookie for the collection. I don't want Mr. 62 homers catching a fly ball. The Judge update black is very low pop, even lower than the Series 1, if I'm not mistaken. And you mean, does he have, he has a regular update and a rookie debut, right? So
I
and
think he's in there twice.
I think Caleb's looking at the rookie debut. It's listed at 800. Not sure how fair that is, but seems like a card that wouldn't show up much. It probably won't show up much. That does seem high to me, but I don't know Judge market very well.
Yeah, I don't know the Judge market at all, but that does seem, gosh darn it, that does seem high based on like for a rookie debut. Hold on, update Judge. Oh, I do like the picture though. Why didn't they use this? Why didn't they use that picture for his base card?
Debut is one of the only ones of him batting, JV says.
Right. Okay. All right. Maybe I was confused because I see there's also an update, like an all-star card of his. I'm trying to think. Does he have a?
Yes, sometimes they have multiple. Sometimes they even have three. They might have an all-star, a rookie debut, and the regular.
Yeah. Now I was sure he had a regular update, but now I may have been confusing that with. I may have been thinking the all-star was a regular, so maybe he doesn't. It's not a bad card by any means, but $800 for a rookie debut and what looks like a PSA 9. I mean, I'm not a Judge fan, so I couldn't do it. But I would tell you that I would absolutely not spend $800 on a PSA 9 Acuna rookie debut and a PSA 9, if that helps.
Even a black, yeah.
Even a black, yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, a black. Yeah, I would not do that.
Yeah.
If he come down to like 450, maybe I get behind it.
Yeah.
I do like the picture though. It's such like just a classic batting stance rookie card. Like why that should be. No one wants to watch Judge catch a fly ball. Like I don't know why they put that on the card.
Yeah,
that's just me. But if you're a Judge collector, I should ask. I don't know. It's a great question. Would you rather have the update black or the Bowman Chrome image variation? If you're going for the rookie, you know what I would take.
What is the image variation for him?
Like coming up out of the dugout.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool card.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. But yeah, Caleb, do you have the Bowman Chrome rookie variation while we're talking about
it? Grady says, what are your general thoughts on Arenado? That gives me a good chance to plug our other show with
yes.
Scotty B Cards. Chris and I have joined a couple other people in the hobby, Filmington and Teapot and Scotty B Cards, to start a channel called Spitballin' Cards, and we release 2 episodes every week. And there are a couple Arenado fans in there, and he's come up a couple times in our discussions already on there. And whether or not he's kind of reached the end of his career, how much does defense play a role in a player's collectability? Oh yeah, Lucky Peter, nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not a huge Arenado fan. I mean, I'm a fan of his abilities on the baseball field, but not necessarily his cards. Chris and I don't own any of them, so yeah, I can't give you a lot there. But we have some. Scotty B Cards is a big Arenado. He's a rock. Been following him.
And I should say a quick congratulations. Grady, one of our viewers here, just messaged me before we started. He picked up a really nice 2018 flagship SSP of Arenado.
Ooh.
I think he's out on the bases. He's hands are up. That's what the theme was then, is pointing or something. It's a really, really nice looking card. I think he's wearing his pinstriped Rocky jersey.
Hey.
Really looking card. So, Grady, if you're still in here, congrats on that.
Yeah, I feel like despite him slowing down, he's still on a Hall of Fame path. As I mentioned, he's 8 WAR ahead of where Harper is now. So I'm a huge fan of all things SSP for future Hall of Famers. So that's a great pickup.
Yeah, I like that card a lot. I like all those 2018s. I love, like Jeff was saying, anything with themes. I love it.
Yeah, he's yellow.
Cards where all the players are doing something similar. I'm on board. That's going to be great. I can't wait to see Cardboard Showcase fill his his run. I want to see that all together. Consistency is nice.
Yes.
In those regards.
We don't have a lot of it. Maybe that's what makes it stand out and makes us appreciate it so much. But
yeah, I don't know where the people were that were in charge of that. back in 2017 and 18. I don't know what happened to them, but they're
Yeah.
not there.
No,
So,
must have moved on.
yeah. I guess
Well, any final thoughts on Harper, or how would you answer that? Let me just ask you this: how would you answer that last question? A year from now, are Harper's cards going to be up, down, or about the same as they are? What would be your?
all right. I would say, barring any outside market forces, any unforeseen, assuming the American economy maintains where it is right now, hopefully we tick up a little bit. That would be great. But independent of that, I would expect Harper cards to be at least slightly more valuable than they are right now.
That's kind
Because
of what I do.
at this point next year, or even like a month earlier next year, he will have completed, fingers crossed, his first full 150 plus game season since his MVP year, since 2021.
There's a chance he could get to 350 home runs next year, which
Yeah.
would be cool too.
Yeah, 340 at least seems on the table.
Yeah.
You know, his team looks like they're in good shape to get a ring. I would just expect that Phillies team is going to be a lot better next year than they were this year with him at full strength.
Yeah, that's true. If you get two halves of a season like he had a second half, that's MVP Harper.
Yes, if you can just avoid inside Blake Snell fastballs and minimize the throws. I don't know where they're going to put him defensively. They may just send him out to left so he doesn't have to throw too much. Castellanos has a better arm anyway, and Harper was never a great outfielder.
No.
Their other option would always be just to let Rhys Hoskins walk, because I think he's a free agent after this year, and just keep Harper at first base.
They might do that. They might just do that.
Seems like he's doing pretty well over there. He's certainly better than Kyle Schwarber was at first base.
And even on that game changing double play, he made a nice pick on the short.
Yes.
So he's looking much more comfortable there for not having played there his whole life.
Yeah. He did that one thing where Matt Olson, when Matt Olson hit his arm or hit his elbow, like his arm just drifted like into the base paths as he caught a ball.
Yeah.
Hate to say sort of Max Muncy style, but that's kind of how that looked. Like that was his footwork was off. But yeah. I mean,
he's still working on it, but he'll get a full spring training, hopefully.
Yes. And that's the kind of stuff he can easily get settled. He'll figure that out. He's going to be a quick learner wherever he plays.
Yeah.
They don't need Trout, but I'm having a hard time envisioning a world where they don't get Trout. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. But
those guys play together. I know it's tough for a Braves fan to admit, but it would be fun to see those two guys play together, and fun to see Trout on a winning team and see what he can do in October.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see the Phillies become a dynasty.
Yeah.
Especially if they become a dynasty in October while the Braves become a dynasty April through September.
Regular season dynasty, yeah.
It's painful enough back when they won 14 straight division titles, and during that time, the Marlins won more World Series. Like that was bad enough. I don't need to see this happen again.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Jeff, are you targeting any more Harpers? Like,
no, I think once we show the one we picked up, which is relatively lower price than some of the cars we've been talking about now.
Ben, that's mean.
That's true, though. No, I'm not really. I mean, maybe we'll see if there's a big drop off in November, December. Maybe I'll look again. But no, like you said, I'm pretty happy with where we are as far as Harper and going on long term.
Maybe Trout can be the present day Mike Messina. Like the Phillies win the World Series, they bring Trout in. Like the Yankees won the World Series, they brought Messina in. He was phenomenal for like 8 years. They never won. He retired. They won the next year. So maybe Trout can do that for Philly. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Man, that would be an interesting remark on Trout's legacy if that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a knock on Mike Messina. I mean, he was by the best pitcher during that window. It just didn't.
No,
it didn't work out. Yeah, I do not want to see Trout in that uniform. I really, really don't. They're not going to trade him to the Dodgers, so it really limits like the big market places he could go. I mean, yeah, I'd love to see him go to Fenway and hit behind Devers for the next like 7 years. That'd be fantastic. But they don't even have a manager yet, so
I'd love to see him hit in Fenway.
Yeah, that's a ways away. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for joining us on as Chris said, must see TV on Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. So thanks everybody for coming here. Please like and subscribe and leave comments for us. That really helps us. Trout is leaving. Well, we don't know. I mean, it seems like the Angels are ready for a reboot. They're gonna probably lose the core of their team. Probably try to recapture as much of that contract as they can.
Yeah. Exactly what Jeff said. The Angels came out and said that they would talk to Trout and explore possible trades if that's what Trout wants.
Which I hope it is. I mean, he's really loyal to a fault almost. Maybe he gets to go back home and play in Philly. I think that he would love that. So,
but he is surrounded by a AAA team at best. Like they have one of the worst minor league farm systems, despite having an early draft pick every year the last decade. I mean, it's nothing.
Their failed signings over the last decade. They just don't. It seems like it's a systemic there.
But yeah, he is a man on an island as much as any one baseball player probably ever has been.
Well, and once Ohtani leaves, Trout to the Brewers. Yes.
Be absolutely spectacular.
That would be awesome, and he would hit like a bat out of hell in Miller Park.
Yes. Please keep an eye out. By the way, if you subscribe to us, please just keep an eye out. At some point this weekend, Jeff and I are going to try to do a PSA reveal on YouTube Live.
Yeah. Getting a bulk order back.
Yes. We should have 22 cards coming back. We just don't know when the cards will be back, and we don't know when our schedule will allow it. So we'll try to give you guys some leeway. It's fun to do it with people watching.
Yes. So if you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we go live. So please hit that subscribe button. And again, check out Spitballin' Cards if you're interested in this type of card content. We join with some really smart people to talk cards a couple times a week. So Spitballin' Cards on YouTube. And come find us on Instagram as well. Chris is Baseball Card Addict on Instagram, and I'm My Favorite Cardboard. So let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll be back next week. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Yep.
Joining.
All right. Have a good night, fellas.